Human beings are creatures of deep-rooted habits and traditions. We want the comfort of the familiar, the continuity of set practices and routines. Yet we also really need change, new ideas and renewal to push progress forward. This core paradox creates challenges for any leader or reformer trying to put new ways of doing things in place. Push too far too fast, and you'll start an overwhelming backlash rooted in people's natural caution. But uphold the familiar order, and your reign becomes stagnant without renewal. Law 45 provides a masterful way to harmonize this contradiction between the need for change and resistance to it. It teaches you how to bring in bold, unprecedented reforms while making them feel comfortingly rooted in the long-held traditions, myths, and sacred grounds that your people psychologically depend on. The law shows how to strategically cloak your modern agenda in the legitimizing power of the past. Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. 1. What is it? At its core, Law 45 advises making a carefully staged public show of respecting ancient rituals, cultural norms, and time-honored conventions, no matter how outdated they may seem. Outwardly, you become a champion of heritage, an avowed custodian of all that made the past great. This venerating appearance caters to people's deep psychological need for continuity, connection to history, and ritual affirmation of their place in the grand sweep of time. Beneath this theatrical facade of ancestor worship, however, you are gradually putting in place meaningful changes and reforms behind the scenes. But these breaks from the set order are brought in gradually, and rebranded as a restoration or renaissance of core ancestral values that have unfortunately eroded. The strategy is to make the unprecedented feel inevitable by embedding it in the mythic rhythms of the eternal return. You are not an impudent radical severing ties to the past, but a prophesied hero finally restoring society's mythogenetic foundations after a period of drift. In this way, you satisfy people's craving for constancy, while channeling their openness to productive change. A key part of Law 45 is leveraging the power of archetypal association and seminal symbolic events from your society's history. You consciously tie your modern ambitions and initiatives to resonant heroic narratives, founding figures, and epochal milestones already deeply inscribed and revered in the collective psyche. This makes your agenda feel mythically fated and preordained rather than radically new. 2. Dangers and exceptions. If taken too far, your venerating choreography of traditionalism can become a form of self-parody that actually blocks your ability to meaningfully reform or innovate. An overly solemn and obsequious acknowledgement of the outmoded past can trap you within its confines, dooming you to mere preservation rather than reinvention. There is also the ever-present risk of being uncovered as a fraud, of having your traditionalist pageantry exposed as mere cynical costumes, concealing your real intention to aggressively overhaul the system. Once this deception is laid bare, you lose credibility and moral authority, provoking furious backlash. Your mythic power collapses. Law 45 recognizes that there are situations when you should not try to tether your changes to the immediate past, especially periods marred by extreme trauma, violence, or social upheaval. After the French Revolution's reign of terror, Napoleon wisely distanced his rule from the excesses of the old regime's decadence. He enacted a clean break with recent history, reaching further back to ancient Roman traditions to imbue his reign with prestige. Additionally, there can be times when making overly specific historical reference points actually narrows your symbolic scope. In these cases, you want to speak in the most expansive universal archetypes to maximize your gravitational mythic pull. 3. How to use it. The key to mastering Law 45 is developing a nuanced sense of cultural literacy and a profound grasp of the specific foundational myths, legends, symbolic events, and primordial dramaturgical cycles that exert maximum psycho-emotional authority over your people's collective psyche. From this intimate understanding, you carefully fit the shape of your modern reforms and shifts into the permitted contours of these ancestral frames, associating your present agenda with the emotive authority of hallowed archetypes that are already hardwired in the public imagination. Mao Zedong modeled this technique masterfully, interweaving the communist revolution with classic Chinese novels and era-defining rebellions against imperial tyranny from the ancestral past. Figures like the 3rd century military genius, Zhuge Liang, and the heroic Monkey King were woven into Mao's personal myth arc. The revolution unfolded as the next chapter in sacred patterns seeded at the dawn of Chinese civilization. Another powerful method is making concerted use of the same rituals, titles, official modes of dress, archaic linguistic styles, and heraldic regalia as one's vaunted forebears. This creates a powerful symbolic seamlessness with the revered past. The Roman Republic maintained certain titles and ceremonial practices from the monarchy period, like the King of Sacrifice, easing the societal transition while invoking talismanic continuity. Revisionist retellings of history to valorize and mythologize your initiatives are also key. Audacious recastings of once vilified figures into proto-embodiments of your current reformist vision gives it the stamp of ancestral consecration. Mao reinvented the Emperor Qin Shi Huang, previously seen as a brutal tyrant, into an inspiring figure of blood-soaked renewal, mirroring his own regime's harsh birth pangs. The most masterful employment of Law 45 is found in distilling your changes down to their universal archetypal core, then choreographing an artful re-emergence of these ancient energy signatures on the world stage as a new individuated expression. You become a knowing catalyst for the great repetitions and cyclic returns that all human civilizations venerate. In essence, you leverage the persuasive power of resurrecting the eternal in new theatrical forms. Change is revelation, not revolution. Anxiety is soothed, and momentum builds for your edicts as they feel like the prophesied rematerialization of spiritual refrains and mythic dramas slumbering in humanity's root consciousness. You enter the pantheon of the great world narrators. Now, something important. Make it a daily habit to learn something truly beneficial that enhances your life. Remember, the content you feed your mind is like nourishment for your brain. Be deliberate in your choices. Otherwise, be wary. Algorithms are often crafted to manipulate your thoughts. Reflect on that. Now, we're excited to announce that we're now welcoming contributions through subscriptions to aid our upcoming projects and bring you exceptional content. Join us by subscribing today.